Quiet inner dialogue. I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I'm so dumb. Of course I screwed that up, like I always do. Why the heck do I even try? I never get it right. I ought to just quit. What a loser. I'm such a freaking butthead. Could I screw this up any worse? I'm such a failure. I can't do this. Whoa, hold on there. That seems a little harsh. Is that actually how I talk to myself? It is true. We are meanest to the one we spend the most time with. 24 hours every day. Us. Let's play a game. Turn all those comments around towards someone you care about. Out loud. Perhaps your spouse, or a sibling, or your mom or dad, grandparents, or to a toddler. You are such an idiot. You're so stupid. I can't believe you're so dumb. Of course you screwed that up, like you always do. Why the heck do you even try? You'd never get it right. You ought to just quit. You're such a loser. You're such a freaking butthead. Could you screw this up any worse? You're such a failure. You can't do this. Wow, that puts things in perspective, eh? It sounds so much more harsh when it's out loud and directed towards someone you care about. Not saying this doesn't happen too. There are some mean people out there that would actually say this to people they supposedly care about. But I'm focusing on our own self-talk today. I want to highlight that our inner dialogue can be pretty darn unforgiving and cruel. And here's the worst part. Your brain hears and believes everything you tell it. This kind of internal conversation is very destructive. It involves overly critical and punishing thoughts we have about ourselves, continually highlighting mistakes, flaws, and minor slip-ups. Every little oops is magnified and put on blast in our heads and looped in a never-ending low-light reel for us to constantly watch in our minds. Obviously, this doesn't sound like a healthy way to be. Let's dig in a little more. Like I said, the brain believes everything you tell it. So if you never tell it anything good and it's nonstop bad, well, that's what it accepts as reality because it doesn't receive any other kind of input. Surely this can impact mental health. It leads to stress, anxiety, and depression. It's no surprise that your self-esteem will be low, destroying confidence and guaranteeing that your concept of self-worth is crap. Worse yet, it keeps you locked in a less than good spot. The unending cycle of negativity makes it close to impossible to achieve any goals or to move ahead in life. Some common patterns of this kind of self-talk involve filtering, overgeneralization, and anxious repeat thoughts. Filtering is when you magnify any negative in your life and completely ignore the positives you bring to the table. Many of us overgeneralize, meaning we draw big old broad conclusions based on a single less than perfect event. Like, you accidentally mess up one tiny part of a task at work. Oh, I always screw this stuff up. Every time. I never do anything right. Then this often leads to the anxious, repetitive thoughts, where you constantly ruminate on your so-called negative events. So how do we stop this vicious cycle? First, you got to be conscious of the fact you're doing it. You really have to pay attention to your inner dialogue. Then, as often as possible, replace the bad talk with good talk. You can also reframe your negative perspective so you see the events from a different angle, maybe as an outsider looking in. Try to treat yourself with some compassion. Talk to yourself like someone you actually care about. Journaling can be helpful too. If you have a bunch of negative you feel you need to tell yourself, write it down. You'll feel some relief by getting it off your mind and onto paper. Then go back a day later and read it. It will likely surprise you how not nice it is. As always, meditation and living a healthy lifestyle will help. Not only will it give you some tiny personal wins, but you'll be physically better armed to handle the incoming negative thoughts. And if you don't think critical self-talk will exhaust you physically, I suggest you reevaluate. Exercise, proper nutrition, adequate sleep, these basics are often the answer to a lot of things that need fixing. They will help to improve mood and reduce some of that stress. Finally, try to spend as much time as possible around positive people. If you're always surrounded by intensely negative folks, well, you become negative. Remember, whatever story you feed your brain, I'll never succeed, life's not fair, I suck at everything. It works to make it so, to make it actually true. Your mind hates cognitive dissonance. It prefers to turn lies into reality than to accept that it might be wrong. Deep, I know. Let that sink in, then work to make your brain right about good things, like you being pretty darn good.